Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, man, I hope you had a great weekend. Not a great weekend if you're a Cardinal fan. Wow, boy, that was bad for all you football fans in the desert here. Not off to a very good start. We had a huge storm late last night into this morning. I don't know, Jason, how am I sounding right now? Because I know that the storms have been affecting a lot of communications here in Arizona.
You sound fine, Joe. You sounds good.
Good. So, yeah, I guess what, the Broncos play tonight?
I think so, yeah. I haven't been paying attention to football too much, so I guess so. They got their new quarterback. That's what I know. I didn't know when they played.
Yes, that's right. Russell Wilson and all that. I don't know. I'm trying. I made an attempt. My wife and I turned the game on. We didn't make it out of the third quarter, Jason. We just said, we're done with that and watch something else out there. But these things that used to distract us seemingly less and less entertaining as it goes on. We've got a rally in gold, a huge rally in silver. Silver's up over $1 an ounce right now, approaching 1975. Gold's up a dozen, 1732. The Dow's up a couple of hundred points. We've got CPI coming out, Jason, this week. Of course, next week we got the Fed rate hikes. I expect CPI to fall again, once again, because we dodged a bullet on gas prices. But Janet Yellen was talking this weekend. She's letting everybody know, don't expect the cheap gas prices to continue this winter. And this is kind of one of those weird things, Jason, where, prices have come down, but more not because supplies have gotten any better. I guess simply because maybe they haven't gotten any worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're cutting their margin a little bit, because I know here in Colorado we have a spot here that's really super cheap. That's because there's some gas competition, so maybe some of that is set in.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But this winter, I expect things to get more expensive once again. We have news out of Electrolux today, news out of Goldman Sachs today. Electrolux says a huge plunge in demand for home appliances across Europe and the United States. For those of you that don't know, Electrolux, the second largest appliance maker, Whirlpool being the largest, said that demand for core appliances in Europe and the United States in the third quarter have decreased at a significantly accelerated pace compared to the second quarter. And that's worth noting, Jason, because what Electrolux is saying is, hey, this slowdown that we saw in the second quarter is actually getting worse in the third quarter.
Correct, Joe. Yeah, we're in a recession, even though they've redesignated that term, and I don't see it coming to an end. So it can be more of this coming.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the funny. We may get blocked on YouTube today for that, Jason. I mean, obviously, Jason and I are like, hey, we're only using the definition that the banks gave us. But apparently it's different this time. Electrolux says higher retail inventory levels. So here's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, Best Buy, Home Depot, Lowe's, right? All these places where you go to get your appliances, that the retailers are saying we have way too much stuff and they are canceling orders. And Jason, this is something we're going to watch. You know, we've been seeing these jobs numbers. We've got the two different surveys. The headline job number, the Bureau of Labor Statistics number still says we're hiring. The household survey says we're not. I think we're going to get resolution to what the job market is in the last few months of this year. We're going to know for certain, is this a recession heading into depression, or somehow, Jason, is it different this time? Electrolux saying it's not.
Yeah, well, it definitely points to many quarters of downward economic growth. So I guess we'll be sitting here watching, Joe, because we don't manipulate the numbers quite like they do. So who knows what they can do in the next few months to try to change the narrative.
Yeah, and even Goldman Sachs this morning saying that they're getting ready for a round of layoffs. That there's no question. That the markets are gotten more challenging. We have made the decision to slow hiring velocity and actually start reducing staff. So, you know what that says to me? Hey, we're not hiring. Unless somebody, if somebody leaves that they didn't want to fire, that they need to replace, they're going to replace them. But you don't slow the velocity of hiring and then also say, but we're still hiring. It doesn't work that way, Jason.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So there's a lot of pain and suffering coming for you guys out there with jobs, people trying to make their mortgage payments. All this stuff is we're getting squeezed tighter and tighter. I'm seeing it with the people around me, friends and family groups. It's getting tougher by the day, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And again, we're going to get another rate hike next week. Like I said, this is a big. I guess a big week for data because obviously the CPI is the big event, but we're also going to get retail sales. We're going to get producer price index, Philly Fed. So a lot of things to think about this week. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour. Janet Yellen. This was yesterday. And this is kind of very concerning for me. So first she said, hey, by the way, gas prices going back up this winter. I think I've told you that. This is why this week, get ready for a lower inflation number. Get ready to hear, the Fed can take it easy and all that stuff. That's not true. And believe me when I tell you, the second we stop drawing out of the strategic oil reserve, we've got a big problem. They've got to get demand down significantly for prices not to go up. But she said, now that's not the scary part. Then she went on to say, so gas prices will increase again this winter. But she didn't give an amount. Are we going back to $5? Obviously states, it depends where you're at. Like Arizona, we're right around $4 now. I know other states are around $3. Some states are, like California, $5. Are we going up $1 or are we going up $2? Well, she didn't say, but it was the next sentence that caught my attention. The Federal Reserve is going to need great skill to avoid a recession amid economic sanctions targeting Russia and the war with Ukraine. So it's still the Russians. For two things she said there. Number one, actually three things. Number one, it's the Russians. Number two, she said, to avoid recession, right? Still, let's not admit it, right? This is the pattern. What do we see out of them? Janet Yellen, Jay Powell, remember the same pattern they used when talking about transitory pricing when it came to inflation. They're trying to do the same thing with recession. We're already in one. I don't care. You can't rewrite the rules. It's been 2 straight monthly quarters of decline. And by the way, it looks like we may have a third quarter. Atlanta GDP right now still at 1%, but it's been falling. We'll have to wait and see. But then the third thing she said, and this was the part that really had me worried, that the central bank would need great skill to avoid a recession. So obviously, here's what she's really saying. It's going to get worse. That's really what she was saying. There's no amount of skill. The great skill, we needed that great skill 2 years ago. Right? We should have already been at 3% Fed funds rate to start this year. Not to, here we are in September thinking that maybe next week we're going to finally get there. That's how far behind they really are. Her comments were on the State of the Union program. See, this is why I didn't see it live, because it was on CNN. The Fed is going to need great skill, but wait, there's more. So great skill will not be enough. Nope, they're going to need great skill and some good luck. Now, listen, I don't know if Jay Powell's got the luck of the Irish. They already had good luck, really, if you think about it. We haven't had a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico all year, right? We're running out of luck. Why do I feel like that was the only good luck? The only reason why gas prices are down right now is because that didn't happen. But she said, so great skill and some good luck to what she called a soft landing. Listen, Joey's going to be on starting in the next segment. And this is why you got to reach out to him. You get your gold and silver. You get your gold and silver put away with us. The rest of your money, you better get it taken care of. Janet Yellen, listen, she just let everybody know. She's not going to say it in plain English. I mean, first of all, who associates the central bank with great skill? I don't think anybody. Matter of fact, the Fed's got a credibility problem. Then she says, not only that, we're going to need luck on top of it. So things are going to get a lot more cloudy again when we come into the winter months. She says they're seeing a slowdown in growth. But that's natural, she said, because the economy had been in a deep hole, and now it's come out of that. But she added that the Federal Reserve should use their own best judgment. Wow. If that's what we're relying on, their best judgment, then we got problems. 800-951-0592. By the way, this also, I'm assuming on this next one that the federal government is going to step in here. There's been ongoing rail contract talks. All the major railroad networks in the United States, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, CAX, BNSF, are all in negotiations. Negotiations have gone nowhere. All major railroads right now are enacting their contingency plan for a controlled shutdown of the railways. What that means is that the rail companies will secure shipments of hazardous materials and security-sensitive materials that your cars, your groceries, clothing, appliances, all this stuff that comes by rail car would be affected. They're supposed to go on strike on Friday. Right now, BNSF, I'll get it out, has told all of its customers to call Congress so lawmakers can intervene to prevent or quickly resolve service disruption. So we'll see what happens here, but this is a major deal. If the federal government doesn't step in and there's a nationwide rail strike, which I can't even imagine. You think that you've had problems getting stuff in the past, shelves would be empty in a hurry. So let's hope this happens. But here's the biggest thing. 29% of all U.S. freight, almost 30% of everything we do goes on rail cars. So this is a huge part of the economy. Even a temporary disruption could be catastrophic. But the thing here is, obviously, why are they striking? They want more money. Right? They want more money. They want better hours. They want better health care. Again, this is what inflation does. This is what the problem is. This is why I keep saying don't be fooled by the inflation number this week if it comes in cooler than expected, or I guess they're already expecting it to be cooler, but you understand what I'm saying. These pressures are not going away. Wage pressures are not going away. This is going to be very impactful. I'll tell you this. My wife went to Baskin-Robbins. Now, here's the good part. My wife said, "Do you want something, honey?" I was like, "Nope, I'm good." But we went, we had dinner. It was Saturday night. We went to, there's a Baskin-Robbins near our house, and we went to the drive-thru. And my wife goes, "I'd like a scoop of butter pecan on a waffle cone." That's pretty standard order, I think, at Baskin-Robbins. Not that I go there a lot. The voice back at the drive-thru window. We are out of butter pecan, and we have no waffle cones. And then my wife goes, "Okay, how about mint chocolate chip?" We don't have any. My wife, without just if you know my wife, she goes, "Do you guys even sell ice cream?" And then the poor kid, I'm assuming it was a kid, sounded like a kid, didn't even know how to respond to it. But long story short, we did not get any Baskin-Robbins. But I just bring that up because if there's a rail strike, that'll just be, think about this, 30% of everything consumed in this country goes by rail. It could be a very, very tough several weeks. Hopefully, I think they have to. I don't know if they do or don't, but I think that they would have to step in, and I don't know if we can prevent. I'm sure we can. Kind of like airlines, right? The pilots or the air traffic controllers. We could force them to work, but just something to be aware of. I'll keep you updated. I know that the talks so far today have been unproductive. And then how about this one? How soon until this happens here in Switzerland now? And this is probably coming everywhere. They're taking drastic measures, right? And obviously we get it, right? The era of abundance is over. Switzerland imposing fines up to 3 years in prison for citizens who violate new regulations when it comes to the consumption of power. They're circulating a viral poster on Swiss social media telling citizens to rat out neighbors who heat their home above 66 degrees this winter. So can you imagine, right, you go over to the neighbor's house and you walk past the thermostat and they've got it set, I don't know, 68 degrees or 69 degrees because grandma is shivering over there in the corner and telling them, "Hey, turn in your neighbors." Of course, now the Swiss government is saying that they had nothing to do with it, just so you know, because I'm sure they didn't. Right? Yeah, they had nothing to do with it. We're not saying that. Of course, they did not deny that, yes, violators will receive 3 years in prison. Neglected violators face a daily penalty. So on top of this, so I guess, and again, right, smart meters, all this stuff, they already know, right? They already know what you're setting your thermostat at. In Switzerland, daily penalties between 30 francs, which is about $31 to 3,000 francs. I'm sorry, $31 to 3,000 francs, which is $3,130. Is the daily penalty. So I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a sliding scale, right? If you set it at 67, I guess you get a $31 a day fine. If you set it at, heaven forbid, you set it at like 75, maybe at that point a $3,000 fine. If you accidentally set your thermostat incorrectly, you will be better off than your neighbor who deliberately heated his pool. So there you go. There's distinctions. You accidentally set your thermostat too high, a smaller fine. If we found out you heated your pool or your sauna, maybe there's going to be no saunas for the Swiss. I don't know. Then you could be, think about the $3,000 fines a day. And this is why I keep saying people really don't understand the amount of demand destruction that is going to need to occur. But don't worry. We need extreme skill and luck for the central bank to pull this off. We've got Joey coming up next. We're going to be talking about bonds and savings bonds and the difference and all that. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason. Jason's actually tied up right now, but we've got my son Joey's joining us, obviously a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual. And Joey, I was just sharing with the listeners, Janet Yellen yesterday talking about the fact that gas prices are going to go back up this winter, that the Fed is going to need to have extreme skill and luck to avoid a recession, which we're already in to begin with. But one thing is clear, rates continuing to go higher. I saw today Goldman Sachs is talking layoffs, and then Ray Dalio said over the weekend that we could see stocks fall another 20 to 25%. And people need to make some adjustments, some simple adjustments, whether it's their 401ks, their IRAs, that can save them a bunch of money.
Yeah, and I completely agree with everything you just said, and there's so many things we can be doing to protect ourselves from these times in the market. We're seeing absolutely crazy times. The Fed isn't doing anything to help. They're raising rates. Stocks, the market, could be going down some more. And if we're all out aggressive, we're not checking things, or we're not being on top of it, unfortunately, we're going to lose all the money we worked our butt off for. And that's why I'm here, to have a conversation with you and just get a recent statement from you. If you can send me a recent statement of your 401k, I can look at it, we'll schedule a meeting, and I'll tell you exactly what is going on with it. It's a simple phone call. You can always reach me at my cell, 602-909-9048, or find my info at the KHNC website. But, one thing you did mention earlier before the break about savings bonds and things like that, and honestly, I think that's a terrible move. They're already down 8%, globally down 12%. Rates are only going to go higher. Those are going to go down even more. And this is supposed to be a risk-free
explain that to people. Explain that to people, because I think a lot of people have a misconception about bonds. Bonds do worse as rates rise. As rates go higher, your bonds do worse.
Yeah, there's exactly. It's like an inverse relationship. Rates go down, bonds do better. Rates go up, bonds do worse. And right now, with a high interest rate market, you're losing money on it. You're not only is inflation at 8%, but they're down 8%. You're down 16%. And this is supposed to be the safest part of your portfolio. Bonds, supposed to be safe money, supposed to be guaranteed to be giving you at least 2%. And right now, it's eating away at people's portfolios. And what we do here at Northwestern Mutual is we're very strategic, and we take your safe part of your portfolio and we take it out of the market so that it serves a hedge to all of your other investments, which then in return allows you to be even more riskier in the market if you choose to be so, knowing that you have a bucket of money growing. That doesn't matter what the Fed is going to do with interest rates. It doesn't matter if we go to war with Ukraine or Russia. It doesn't matter about any of those outside factors. It's tied directly to Northwestern Mutual, and I think it's one of the most amazing tools you can be in if you are invested in the market or if you have little assets elsewhere. And it also serves as a protection for certain health cares and things like that, and different riders we can add on to these vehicles. So not only are you growing money, but essentially you're doing estate planning and legacy planning for your family.
And again, these are times right now where a lot of people think they're being safe, but in actuality, they're getting hit double because of inflation. Then the bonds are losing, and it's a double whammy when they're thinking they're being safe. And that's why it's so important to have someone like Joey helping you preserve that wealth so you can, hey, from my perspective, it's really simple. Right, we've said it forever and ever and ever. Don't put all your money into gold and silver, but the money that you're not putting into gold and silver, people don't realize just a few tweaks to their portfolios can save them from huge losses. All of you that suffered huge losses in '07 and '08, you're getting ready, and already you're starting to see the early parts of that already this time around. Reaching out to Joey can prevent a lot of these losses. You know, Joey, you're not saying you're going to prevent all the losses, but you can prevent a lot of them.
Yeah, listen, I don't make miracles. Money does not appear out of thin air. But what I do help with is how do we get a defensive plan put into place to protect our money as much as possible. Listen, the market is down. You're going to be down money. That's just how it works. That's how it goes. But how do we make sure that you're down less than 20% right now? How do we make sure you're down 8% instead of 20%? Things like that. And also what we look at is how old are you? How much longer do you have left in the market? Do you have 5 years? Well, then we shouldn't be aggressive at all. Do you have 20 years? Okay, maybe we can be a little bit more aggressive. But also, we look at the market conditions now and say, hey, let's do this for now, and then 6 months later, let's revisit it, and we'll tweak it again and capitalize on some things going on in the market. I mean, there's so many things we can do, and I think a 401k is a great way for us to establish a relationship. And if you like the relationship we build, we can help you out with so much more and really help you plan out your entire life. For people, most advisors, they just want your 401k and they want that to be assets under management and they call it a day. Not us. We want to make sure we know more about your life, what's going on, what your goals are, when do you want to retire, how much money do you want to live on per month. Okay, great. How should we allocate your 401k to do this? And then what else can we do to make sure that we retire? Social Security is not going to help you retire. It'll give you $1,000, but the cost of living is increasing. It's going up over and over. You know, making $100K this year is like making $70K 5 years ago. It's the cost of living is insane, and to rely on things that the government gives us for retirement, I think is a bad decision. And why not just have a conversation and be educated on some certain other topics of things that aren't tied to the market that can benefit us? Not only benefit you, but it benefits your family. It creates a pool of tax-free money. As we all know, we're actually in a low tax bracket right now historically, and that's only going to increase and go up as inflation continues to go up, and as we give out these $10,000 debt forgiveness for student loans and things like that, we're going to have to pay for those. So how do we dodge those taxes? How are we more tax efficient? How do we make sure Uncle Sam gets a smaller slice of the pie? That's what we help people do.
You know, and it's funny because there's only 6 companies in the world, 6, that have the highest ratings out there. You know, one of them's Apple. Guess who's the only financial company I think that I know of in there is Northwestern Mutual. You are when you talk about the most financially secure companies in the world, Northwestern Mutual is at the top of the list, which tells you they know how to navigate these things. We're going to be back with Joey right after the break. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason, we're back here with my son. Joey's joining us with Northwestern Mutual and really trying to help people, especially right now in the times that we're in, to really secure the gains that you got when they were handing out all the money, right, Joey? When the government was handing out all the money, there's big gains everywhere. Now those gains are under attack. So the name of the game right now is let's preserve as much of that money as possible. And when the time comes, we're going to shift gears and then grow that money even more down the road.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're going to do. Listen, we're not day trading. We're not going to say, hey, we're going to buy Netflix today. That's not what we're doing. We're reallocating your portfolio to be more conservative now or more aggressive, depending on time horizon, risk tolerance, and things like that. Because right now, we are at a fire sale. Things are cheaper, but they're not. But if you bought in at the peak of COVID or end of 2021, you're losing a lot of money. How do we set ourselves up to make more money or to lose less? I'm going to be honest with you. People's portfolios are not up right now, no matter where you go. It's not up. But how do we make sure we're down as little as possible And how do we put a face to your money? Well, a lot of people tell me, hey, Joe, I have an advisor through work. Okay, great. Has your advisor through work visited you in the last 6 months regarding your 401k? Or do they just send you an email every year and be like, hey, do you want to rebalance it? They don't call you. Send you an email that you're probably going to miss. Well, you know what I do? I call you every 6 months. We look at every 6 months. We build a whole financial plan and actually build out retirement analysis tracking for retirement. And we're always changing that. We're always updating that because your life is always changing. And if your life changes, so should your financial plan. You got married. You bought a house. You moved states. You got a promotion. You got kids. Your plan should change. The way you're invested should change. And what you're doing should change. And if you don't have a person there reaching out with you, helping you out with this stuff, I think you're at a disadvantage. It's really easy to blow things off and be like, I'll do it tomorrow. But by having someone in your back court helping you and educating you on different things we could be doing is such a benefit. And I want you to know this, meetings with me don't cost you a dime. It's literally a conversation. We don't get paid for us talking for an hour. That's not how we get paid. We get paid through good work and by helping people out. And that's what we're really here to do, is just to have a convo, look at your assets, look at what's going on, tweak your 401ks a little bit. We're not asking you to put it with us. Your employer has a match. We're going to keep it there, but we can give you some suggestions on how to allocate that. And at the end of the day, once you retire and once you're no longer with that employer, then we can look at it and talk about rolling it over with us. But the fact of the matter is we're not trying to take your 401ks. We're trying to just see your statement and give you a suggestion on how it should be allocated, just so that you're losing less money right now in these down times. And then later on, hey, Joe, the market's recovering. What should we do now? Great. Here's X, Y, and Z. Let's do this. We're always constantly meeting and tweaking things.
If people do this and they call you up and you say, hey, you know what? Yep. Hey, make these changes. Get this to your HR people. You're gonna lose a lot less money. Are they going to be reliant then to know when they're supposed to call you to say, hey, you know what? Okay, now the rate hiking cycle is over. Do I need to rebalance my portfolio again? Or are you guys going to just naturally reach out to them? Like you said, even though their 401k isn't even with you.
Yeah, you're not even a client with me. But you're going to be on my list to check in at least every 6 months. I'm going to call you, and I'm going to check in on you and ask how things are going. And we're going to have a chat, and we'll set up another conversation for us to relook at everything again. But on top of that, this is about building a relationship that we can do other things outside the 401k to make you more tax beneficial, help you save up for retirement, help you do some estate planning, wills, trusts, etc. Do you know if you pass away and you don't have this set up, it's not your choice who takes care of your kids, who gets your assets, you go through probate through the government? There's so many different things we help people with, and it all starts with a conversation. The reason why I do this work is because I believe in it 100%. We do right by people, and there's a reason why we're the only financial company that is in that highest rating standpoint financially. We do what is right. We don't take people's money for profit. We do what's in their best interest. And in return, we average a 27-year relationship with our clients. The industry average is 2.5 years. Those people are transactional. They just want your assets, and they call it a day. Us, we want to see people achieve retirement and live that lifestyle that they wanted to live, because at the end of the day, the better you do, the more money I make as well. It's beneficial for us to do this planning and set up a bulletproof plan and make sure that we're combating everything going on, especially right now when things are crazy. The election cycle is heating things up. It's making sure, hey, let's play defense right now.
And then you also mentioned, and I think very smartly too, it's not just about, hey, let's keep more money in that 401k. Don't lose. You don't have to take the losses that you've taken in the past. But then you brought up the tax side of things, right? This is the other part, saving yourself to where when you do get to that retirement age, you get to hold more of that money tax-free because, as you said, as these debts grow and everything else grows, we know, right, taxes are only going up from here. And so the ability to have more of your money in these tax-free places, it's going to allow you to retire much better.
This is very true. It's going to help you achieve retirement, pay less taxes. A lot of people are losing 40% of their portfolio when they withdraw because of taxes. So how do we prevent that from happening?
Final segment coming up. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. Gold's at the top. Silver's at the top. Gold's up almost 20 now. 1737 silver. Holy smokes. Up $1.20. 1980, almost 1990 on silver. The Dow is up today. Everyone's excited because they're hoping for a lower inflation number, but just remember Janet Yellen's warning that gas prices are going back up this winter. And Joey, the interest rate cycle, the Fed continues to try to play catch up here with inflation, and it looks like a lot more pain to come.
There's going to be some pain coming, and especially with people's safe part of their portfolio. As we mentioned earlier in our conversation, it's when the rates go up, the bonds yield lower, and they actually give you a loss. And this is the safest part of your portfolio. So it's how do we position ourselves and how do we rebalance our money in a way to give us assets that aren't tied to the market. And at the same time, how do we position our 401k to be most beneficial and to lose less money in downtimes like this when the market is bad? And then how do we reposition ourselves when things are looking better? It's an ongoing conversation, and honestly, the answer changes month to month. It's something that we got to review and be on top of. And I think most people's biggest mistake is that they say, I'm going to do this tomorrow, then tomorrow comes and they do the same thing over and over and over again. I gotta tell you, I've heard some horror stories. People in their 60s, they come and talk to me, and there's some things we just can't do because things are age-sensitive, health-sensitive, and also their time in the market is very low, and they have 2 years to retirement. And there's so much we can be doing now to make sure that when we do enter retirement, we are not having those difficult conversations, and we don't have to worry, like, hey, do I have to get a job at Walmart as a greeter to make ends meet when I'm in my 70s? We make sure our clients never have to do that because we set them up with a plan, and we're completely transparent about everything that's going on. I really think that we can help people out. Like, for example, I was talking with a guy the other day. He's rolling over $700,000 with a financial advisor through his work. The guy hasn't shown him a single plan at all or even mentioned how to be tax efficient. When that guy withdraws in retirement, he's going to lose 40 to 50% of his money because of taxes. And his advisor not once mentioned vehicles or any ways we can be more tax efficient. He could have been funding a backdoor Roth IRA, and instead he wasn't, and his advisor has done nothing to help him. He just wanted to grab those assets under management. So, I would be careful out there. There are some bad apples. Not saying everyone's bad, but if people are trying to take your money before talking about a plan, that's a red flag. There will always be a plan in place before there's any money or any transactions going on, because that shows the true genuinity of the company and of that advisor, that they're willing to make a plan before seeing any money come over.
That's a great tip for everybody. Joey, if people want to talk to you about their 401ks or tax planning or any of those things, how do they get a hold of you?
Yes, reach me at my personal cell. It's 602-909-9048. Again, 602-909-9048. And they can always find me on the KHNC website, and all my information is there. And shoot me a call or text. If I don't answer, I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm probably in another client meeting. But I just look forward to having an actual conversation. No expectations, just want to see if we can be a resource for you.
Joey, thanks. We'll have you back in a couple of weeks. God bless everybody. Don't touch that dial.